time for Ross to demand more. Conclusions, reaction after another lost Dolphins season. 6 things that must happen now after another wasted Dolphins season. One that ended with a 32-20 stinker of a loss at the Jets, and stretched their league-high streak without a playoff win to 24 years. Owner Stephen Ross needs to demand more, even if it means occasional meddling. Aside from the Cowboys' Jerry Jones, there has been no more patient NFL owner than Ross in recent years. And it's not fully warranted. He has repeatedly given his front office a mulligan for missteps that are unforgivable. For Ross, no mistake has seemed too big to overlook. Drafting Charles Harris ahead of T.J. Watt? Let's reward General Manager Chris Grier by giving him more power. This really happened. Signing the wrong quarterback for the tank, Ryan Fitzpatrick? Let's have the guy making that decision, Grier, oversee the rebuild. Ross assuredly knew that this Dolphins roster lacked the physicality and toughness to compete with Buffalo, Kansas City, and Baltimore. And yet he sat and watched Grier and Mike McDaniel sign no replacement whatsoever for Pro Bowl caliber guard Robert Hunt, while signing retreads Benito Jones, Neville Gallimore, Jonathan Harris, and Tear Tart to replace Christian Wilkins and Raekwon Davis. Before Calais Campbell was added in May only because he took $2 million. Ross knew that Bradley Chubb would miss most or all of the season. And he doesn't say a word when the Dolphins allowed Andrew Van Ginkel 11.5 sacks for Minnesota to leave without an offer. Ross suggested the Dolphins draft Lamar Jackson, watched his GM ignore him, and take Minkah Fitzpatrick, and says simply, oh well. Ross, general manager and coach, tell him it's a good idea to commit $212 million, including $167 million guaranteed, to a quarterback who has stayed healthy exactly 1 year in his life, and Ross doesn't bat an eye. Where are the consequences for anything? Who, exactly, is looking out for the best interests of the franchise? It's one thing to empower your employees. It's another to allow them to go unsupervised when they haven't earned the trust of full autonomy. Is Ross, 84, not paying enough attention, or is he the most forgiving man on earth? Ross hasn't been made available for interviews this decade, aside from the press conference introducing McDaniel as coach. But he owes the public an explanation, just as other owners do, just as Patriots owner Robert Kraft will do with Boston media at 1 p.m. Monday after making a coaching change. CBS reported that there's speculation in league circles that Grier may step aside. Whether he does or not, the owner must be more of a watchdog, or hire someone competent who will be a watchdog for the football side. Though Tyler Huntley told me that the Dolphins have informed his agent they want to keep him, he simply cannot be the number 2 going into next season. Certainly not after Sunday's debacle, featuring some wildly inaccurate throws, 2 interceptions and a 63.8 passer rating. Cold and slick ball played a big factor, Huntley said of his play. The Jets had a nice little plan for us. The Dolphins need to sign one of these backups in March. Andy Dalton, whom they called Carolina about after Tagovailoa's concussion, Justin Fields, Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson, or perhaps Jimmy Garoppolo. Or trade for an established backup who becomes available. Other free agent options: Mac Jones, Mason Rudolph, Joshua Dobbs, Marcus Mariota, Drew Lock, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance and Jarrett Stidham, Cooper Rush and Carson Wentz. Find dominating, people-moving guards must be the priority on day 1 of free agency. And sign or draft better run-blocking tight ends to complement pass-catching wizard Jonnu Smith.